I'm Leslie P. Cruz Jr., and this is my story. Why do I like to paint? Well, it's a form of therapy in one respect. This is my art studio today. Here's some of my brushes. What do you see out there? Well, this is what I see. I don't see gloom and doom. I can remember in my youth just drawing pictures, capturing the things that I think are beautiful. My mother had artistic talent. She used to paint in oils and stuff. So I guess some of that interest got to me. My parents were separated when I was 7, so I didn't have them to rely on. I spent the next 10 years in an orphanage home. My mother couldn't handle it anymore. 5 kids left alone, and my father gone. My separation in my early life made it more important to have somebody care about me and my brothers and sisters, and how that affected us. Most of the guys I knew were all ready to go, hot to trot, and here's a chance that I got to go to somewhere and do something. You know. I was still a loner, because I know that when I came in, they didn't look at me as too confident that he's going to mount anything. To get into that brotherhood, you had to prove yourself first. Richard Vargas was a tent mate, and when we were in England, one of the things that I admired about Richard was every night he would kneel down beside his cot and say the rosary. This is the real thing now. No more maneuvers in play. This is it. We were pretty safe there for the moment. But then, as the things quieted down, I could hear Vargas crying and whimpering, and a shell had landed right beside him. His head was at my shoulder when I put this tourniquet around him, and I could see his leg shredded. I said I knew I couldn't cope with that. When I found out that he had died, I just went across the road, and I just sat on the road and cried it out. And it sounds so callous, but there wasn't much you could do. It's always been with me. There is no real freedom in a sense. We're all obligated to something or somebody. So, in Holland, we're in it day after day after day. It can be helped. All of a sudden, I'm in Belgium. I felt this hot sensation in my hand, and I knew I had been hit. They named it $1 million wound, a light wound that would get him out of the front in the situation. And to this day, I'm still carrying about a 3/8-inch piece of shrapnel on my left wrist, which makes it hard to operate. There was no family to come back to. I was just looking for a place to hang up my hat, and I came back to Philadelphia because that's where I had grown up. I was able to spend 4 years at the University of Pennsylvania studying architecture. Well, that was my career. I worked as an architect for, I guess, about 60 years. I attended the church right up the street, which was the Chelton Avenue Methodist Church, and I met Shirley, and a year later we would become married. And when her mother died, we decided that we would look for another home a short time after that, and we have lived here ever since for 62 years. The fact that I was placed in an orphanage made it more important to have a family and to make the family function the way it should function. And I think we achieved that. The question was asked to me what I think about my country and what it means to be free. I think, an American citizen should be basically a responsible person to his family first, to his community, and then to his country. The National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York, has an airplane up there called W7, Whiskey 7, and it is the same plane that I jumped out of on D-Day.
Proud to shake your hand.
I got to shake your hands on and shake your hands. Good.
We were fortunate enough to have a number of our grandchildren and great-grandchildren be there at the air show to participate with us and actually get a ride in the same plane that their grandfather rode in. What do you see out there? Well, this is what I see. I don't see gloom and doom, and this is your Garden of Eden. This is what you were supposed to have. And it's been a good life, in spite of all the turmoil. How can you be 92 years old and not be blessed? And those are, of course, emotional statements, and they're always hard to state. And when you have 13 great-grandchildren, you have to know that you were blessed by God. And I am.